Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Monday digital edition of Intentional Talk presented to you by Toro. It's Millar, it's Rose, and it's a famous IT alum. It's an 11-year Major League vet. He is now a special assistant to the baseball operations department of the San Diego Padres. AJ Ellis, long time no see. How you doing, dude?
What's up, fellas? Good to be with you guys. It has been. It's nice. It must be alumni week. Or I don't know what's going on this week, but you're bringing out some of your old IT favorites from the past, and it's great to be with you guys.
Yeah, so AJ, we wanted to hire you as an intern after your playing days were done, but the Padres beat us to it. What happened? Did you get a better offer?
Yeah, I never got that. That job application. Nothing came my way. So, yeah, that would have been a nice thing. I could have been there. I could have been caddying for Millar. Could have been out on the course with you. Maybe a steward on the on your private planes around the country, one of those boys trips. I would have enjoyed that. And
Yep.
Rose, I could have saved you from the embarrassment of that thing you're growing on your face right now. So, I mean, there's a lot of things I could have done as an intern that I wish, would have been brought to my attention earlier.
What do you think about his beard, AJ? I want you to be dead honest because we've seen the vanilla, clean-shaven Chris Rose for 20-plus years now. Now we've got a little edge to him. What do you think?
It's definitely not edge. Edge is a little bit too strong of the word. I think he's given up. I think he's quit, to be honest with you. I think it's he's just reached the stage and it's over. Just being home this full time and it's time to move on is what he's saying. This is him just cashing in his chips and saying, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, he's pushed in. I want to ask you a question. You played 11 years in the show, okay? And I think we've got about the same. I say 12 minus, but I've got a war wound here. I just had that surgery. Maybe it's like / Kurt Schilling surgery with the plantar fasciitis. Do you have any war wounds from catching all these years?
You know what? I had a couple of knee surgeries over the course of my career, but nothing's still lingering these days. I do have a hard time though when I get down, either catch my son's pitching or another kid on the team. I can get down on the crouch really, really easily. It's that getting back up that usually requires some assistance from some of the other parents that are on the team. But really capable of getting down, hard time getting back up.
So when you catch your kids, is it like catching Kershaw? Do they not talk to you on game day and snarl at you and stuff? Or
they don't talk to me on any day. I mean, you know how it is as dads. It's hard to get any kind of conversation from those kids at the house. But no, they get out there. They glare at me when I try to give them coaching tips. The mound visits are a little more intense than with Clayton, as they tell me to get my fat butt back behind home plate and things like that. But no, it's fun being out there in the backyard and throwing the ball around for sure.
All right. So tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern on MLB Network, we're replaying the Kershaw no-no with you behind the dish from 2014. At what point did you start to get a little nervous?
That's why I'm on the show today. I was always wondering, this is nice. They reach out. They want me to be on Intentional Talk. They miss me. I knew it had to be something Kershaw related for you guys to reach out and call. So, you know what? At this point in my life, in my career, I just got to own it. Everything that happens to me is Kershaw related, and I'll take it. It's if I can have somebody to coattails to ride on, it must be nice. I mean, Rose, you know what I'm talking about. You've been on Millar's coat yards for what now, 5-10 years, and you've been on that, and so you and I can talk about it. But it's been a good ride for both of us.
Well, listen. I mean, hey, Greg Maddux had Eddie Perez, Clayton Kershaw had AJ Ellis, and Kevin Millar had Chris Rose. Why not?
Yeah, no, it's good. Every Batman needs a Robin, right? I don't know, you guys can duke it out afterwards to see who it is. I do remember, speaking of Kershaw, one of those ping pong challenges we had. You guys were verbally bashing as you guys did the walk of shame out towards center field. So I still, even at that point, you guys didn't know. I didn't know who the alpha dog was, and who was number 2 in that relationship. So it's nice to see you guys still haven't figured it out.
You're right. You're exactly right. They obviously beat us, him and Jimmy Kimmel, and I don't want to talk about that right now. I want to know who was more nervous during the no-hitter of Clayton Kershaw. Was it Mrs. Ellis or Mrs. Kershaw right here? Because we see them holding hands, because it's a very nervous moment.
Well, I have to clear things up. That's actually Tiffany Billingsley on the side with Ellen right there. Mrs. Ellis was sitting down in a different seat. So. That's Ellen and Tiffany, and they had some great moments during that game. The camera producers did a great job of adding to the drama by showing Ellen and what was going on with her up there. But
that is remarkable. By the way, that's remarkable. By the way, what was the gift that Clayton got you? Because is it show watch is what usually goes on, or what did he get you?
Yeah, he was great. It's that tradition of the pitchers after that no hitter. Yeah, there was a nice watch that came my way. So very very grateful, very thankful. The memories and some of the memorabilia we got to take away from that is definitely worthwhile as well. But it's days like today when gonna kind of sit down and watch a little bit of that game. That's always fun too. And I will admit there's been more than one time where I'll pull up the very, very fast YouTube version of Vin Scully calling every out of that no-hitter. And you can find that. It's about 11 minutes long. And it's worth it just to hear Vin's voice describing, those 27 outs that Clayton got.
Cool. You mind taking a stroll down memory lane? Because we don't call you just because of Clayton Kershaw. We've always enjoyed having you on the show, whether you're taking pot shots at me or Millar or anybody else. So tell us what you remember about, how about this first picture here? When you video bombed the Kershaw.
Best ever.
You look very different these days.
Best ever.
There's no, Millar, you'll know this. There's no stress anymore. There's no stress eating. That post game, I couldn't eat before games, because I was always a nervous wreck, anxious before I could get on the field. So then, all that hunger would be built up, and that seventh inning protein bar wouldn't sustain me, and I'd get off the field, and that buffet was a free for all. So. And then going back to the post game cocktails as well. So there was some dietary issues probably in the AJ Ellis career, especially during that time. But now it's stress free, a lot of smiles, and a lot of clean eating, and a lot of good times.
Good. All right. Up next, I think this might have been the first or second time we had John Michael Young pick your nipples up.
What I remember about that was, as I was right after the playoffs. It was or during the playoffs. We had just beaten the Braves in the 13 NLDS. We're out there ready for the next series. I'm out there giving Don Mattingly the business for having your rebate try to put a sacrifice bunt down for the first two strikes before you hit the game-winning home run there in the bottom of the 8th inning. So I'm out there giving him the business, and out comes Michael Young with a couple of pieces of tape. And the other thing was, Millar, I remember was you were getting text the whole time. Your phone's getting blown up by like Victorino saying, "Somebody tell Ellis to cover up his nipples." and you didn't have the heart to say anything. You made me just sit out there and wear it while all my colleagues and all my teammates and friends across baseball are watching those hot stuff. There they are.
There they are.
Hey, man, just very sensitive guys who are easily aroused, I guess, right, Kevin?
But you have little shame because when you eventually moved on to Miami and played with the Marlins and Giancarlo, you dipped into his locker apparently.
Yes.
That was in the midst of his historic season. He was chasing after those 60 home runs, and I wanted to remind everybody that there's people behind the scenes that are helping him become the MVP player he was that year. And I think it was my job to kind of warm up the equipment for him. I got the arm sleeve and the elbow guard on there. I got his bat. And most importantly, that tank top that we shared. I would wear it pregame. Then about 6 o'clock, I'd take it off. Somebody actually with help, we'd remove it from my body as we kind of had to stretch it and get it over my head, and then he'd slide it straight on. So I remember, I think it was Yelich and I were in charge of that pit crew change where we'd get that tank off and we'd slip it over to Big G's body as well. But yeah, that was a fun one as well.
So good.
The Nationals were hosting a ton of season ticket holders and having a big Q&A over the first base dugout. And there I am on the third base dugout that finishes, and I got to walk all the way across the field wearing all that garb in front of 750 season ticket holders. So they're watching me, walk down the dugout stairs, and I look up at them, and I get to see just pure embarrassment.
That's why you're the greatest out there. And now that you're the assistant to the assistant to the assistant to the assistant of the San Diego Padres, you have some guys that have a lot of money, okay? Machado and Hosmer. Whose little dress codes are you going to go with? We got Mr. Paddock there, that's a future multimillionaire. Who are you going to with there?
Oh, man, that is the Chris Paddock's get-ups are special. The way that he has embraced this sheriff role and the way he kind of goes around this cowboy role, going around from city to city. I love him for that, and he just owns who he is. And Haas and Manny, they fuel the fire. Those two guys are, you talk about them. They're two of the most generous guys I've ever been around as far as teammates go, and they just take care of that group of guys. And there's so many young players on that team, and so Haas and Manny top of the charts in my career, my experience of being around major league clubs, as far as veteran guys who are willing to go above and beyond just to make the experience for maybe young players just really special.
Hey, AJ, before we let you go, Wednesday is draft day. You can catch it right here on MLB Network coming your way. You were an 18th round selection out of Austin P, I believe, in 2003. What do you remember about the day the Dodgers called you and said, come play for us?
Yeah, it was, kind of leaving my senior year at Austin P. Everything was kind of up in the air about if I was going to be drafted or not. And there was some talk in the morning of the draft. The Boston Red Sox had actually called and asked if, would you just go and play right away? And if you get drafted, we're looking at you in the middle rounds, the early middle rounds of the teens. And, around that same time that they drafted a college catcher. So I said, that was probably my slot. Not really quite sure what's going to happen. Now, don't know if I'm going to get drafted at all. And so I got in the car and started driving around. I remember back then, it was 2003, we only had one cell phone in our family. So I borrowed my mom's cell phone in case something happened. I'm driving around town, and all of a sudden my mom's cell phone started blowing up, and I recognized the number. It's my best friend, from back then in Kentucky when I lived there. And he just gets on the phone. He's like, Tommy Lasorda just said your name. Tommy Lasorda just said your name over that's back when the draft was on the internet radio.
Oh.
And I got to go back and find some tape of that. And he said from Austin Peay State University, Andrew James Ellis. So yeah, it was a special day for me and my family. I went straight to the mall, didn't even go home first, and bought 20 to 25 Dodger hats, as many as I could find, and I brought them back home and started handing them out to my family. So special day for me, and I know coming up it's going to be a special day for a ton of young amateur players who get to start their journey and hopefully get a chance to get on the field and showcase their talents really soon.
Dude, I don't understand what the Padres must have given you like $2.5 million. You could have come and worked for us at MLB Network, or at least with us. We don't actually own the place, but you could have.
No, yeah, you never know what's going to happen. But I'm enjoying the Padres. They treat me really well, and it's a great organization with some really good people, and really enjoying the way that they've allowed me to fit in and just kind of look around the curtains and just figure out new angles of this great game of baseball. And couldn't be more appreciative for AJ Preller and his group have welcomed me so well.
Yeah, that was a bad job by Rose because I allowed you to get generic on the last answer. God, what a moron I am. Listen, dude, it was great catching up with you. Best to you and your family. Stay healthy out there, and hopefully we'll get back to baseball soon, and we'll see you down the road. Don't be a stranger, okay? Don't text us just when Clayton Kershaw's got a no-hitter airing on our network, okay?
That's right. I'm around. You guys know how to find me. Love you guys. You guys make the game so much fun, and I can't wait to see you guys in person in the future really soon.
Sounds good, AJ.
Thanks, AJ, brother.
See you, man. See you guys.
We will see everybody on Wednesday's edition of IT, presented to you by Toro.